I'm your host, Owen Benjamin, or as Germans say, Owen Benjamin. Welcome, everybody. First, I'd like to give a shout out to Vox Dave for having my back. He just did a whole stream called Owen Benjamin Did Nothing Wrong, which is pretty funny. And he gets it, man. It's like, that's one thing that drew me to Vox, is that I felt understood by the guy. And one of the things he said is it's not like he invaded Poland or anything. And I think he might have been referring to Hitler got blamed for killing a bunch of Polish officers, but it was really Stalin. I don't know. That might have been what he was referring to, but it's and he talked about how high IQ people like to do cognitive exercises to figure out what they actually believe. And a lot of people don't understand that. And it's not a brag. You know, if you say, let's say you walk into a restaurant and a Japanese person walks up and it's like, hang on, and one guy's like, oh, he says we have to move the car because I speak Japanese. Would anybody be like, must be nice? No, it's like there's certain people that can speak a language that some people don't understand. And I do have compassion for people that get scared and angry. My brother is an arborist. He's a tree climber. He can be 200 feet in a tree and he looks fearless, but he's not fearless. He has just as much fear as me. Just like me on stage, I appear fearless, but I'm just as much fear as anybody. And it's because we have a skill set and we trust our skill set. And what would make me terrified 200 feet in a tree, when I go 30 feet in a tree, I get scared. My brother can be 200 feet up, but he knows, you know, he's got in his, he's tied in, you know, he like what you do when you're a tree climber is you have a throw, it's called a throw ball. It's like a little ball and you think you can throw it, but you never really can. It's got to be underhand. And you get it way, way up there and you get it notched in a secure branch. And then you tie your saddle into way up there. So then under it, you're secure. And then you also have a tie around the tree, right? So when I'm doing mental exercises and questioning the things that I was told as a child that I now realize may or may not be true, I'm trying to get down to my base knowledge so that I can have the best foundation I can for my life. And when you question certain things, some people don't, and it's not just IQ, because I think it's something that you can be taught. Some people have this insane fear that comes over them when you say like, well, maybe we didn't go to the moon. Maybe prove the earth is a sphere spinning at 1100 miles an hour. These are exercises I'm doing in my mind. I still think the earth is a sphere. I'm just having a much harder time proving it than I thought I would. People get very angry. And it's because they're scared, because their whole mind is based on being on the ground. You know, like how it's so similar to arborism, you know, being a tree guy, that when you're up there, you're like, this is madness. But if you have a slow exposure to the fear, and for those of you that don't understand, like Socrates said, all I know is that I know nothing. I'm not the biggest fan of Socrates, but you have to understand, like, if you get to the base of like, I need to find out my most fundamental things that I know, that scares people. And that makes people angry. And so people were sending Vox emails about, you know, Owen's schizophrenic. You want to disassociate yourself from him. And just like the whole Japanese thing, where it's like, if one person speaks Japanese, someone else that can also speak Japanese, because he's smarter than I am, by the way. Vox is one of the few people that I've met on the internet that I can, without question, say he has a faster processing speed in his mind. And not only does it not make me feel envious or angry, it makes me feel very, very calm and happy conversing with someone that understands the problems of being in a world of idiots. And so anyway, so he speaks the language that I understand, pattern recognition, trial and error, all this stuff that is obvious when you speak a certain language, and when other people don't, they freak out. And this is nothing new for me, guys. Like I'll show you right now. Like I faced ostracism. Let me see if I have the image. I'll find it right now. When 4 years ago, pretty much today. Is it 4 years ago? No, in February it'll be 4 years. And I got a great show for you tonight. Lots of good stuff to talk about, but I just want to shout out Vox because it's always a really cool thing when people have your back, you know, because in this world, a lot of people don't have your back. Okay, I was on the front of Yahoo News. Comedian Owen Benjamin says Beyonce did a KKK dance routine during Super Bowl, February 9, 2016. During Beyonce's powerful Super Bowl halftime. By the way, this is full of so much wizardry. I hope at this point you can see through it based on what I've kind of showed you guys from other videos, but just look at the wizard words being used. Her powerful halftime performance, she and her backup dancers performed a routine that referenced the Black Panther Party, choreographed to Beyonce's new Black Pride anthem formation. Wait till they see my white pride anthem. It's called That Nigger Stole My Bike. Anyway, the performance garnered her praise and adoration from fans, along with some inevitable backlash. And one disgruntled comedian just took to Twitter to compare Beyonce's Super Bowl performance to the KKK. Okay, now I got hammered by that. Bear in mind, I was in LA with a $6,500 a month mortgage, and I went after a woman that people refer to as the Queen. Do you think that I'm scared of people who think we went to the moon? Anyway, as times went on, we can see that I was right in that situation. And not only was I accurate, I wasn't the racist one. And I was just showing that having Black pride is the same as having white pride, and one identitarian performance would garner another. And so the reason they attacked me is because I was right. And so I was getting hammered all over the place, and it didn't get me persona non grata at that point. It was the trans child thing that made it so people couldn't associate with me at parties and stuff. But I don't care about that. And so, because people are doing the same stuff to Crowder and everybody that's in my world, and they did that to Vince Vaughn and Adam Sandler and CAA and everybody that's ever been associated with me, because I have never bent the knee ever once. And I don't even know if I'm capable of that, because I know the hell that would bring. And so I am in this and people keep asking me like, oh, is Crowder going to still work with you because you've went off the rails? I've always been off the rails. Rails are set historically by Chinamen. A lot of them died setting those rails. But that is a pre-approved path. A train, and one great thing about America is that we have cars, unlike Europe, that a lot of Europe is full of trains. Trains say where you're going, what time, and you can't turn. There is no steering wheel in a train. I've always been off the rails because I drive a car because I'm American and not a sodomite. So this is what I'll say about Crowder. I talked to Crowder today. I love Steven Crowder. I think he's a wonderful human being. And whatever is good for him and his company, we haven't even talked about anything that has to do with this stuff. But just know that none of my friendships are based on working relationships. I mean, down the road, I might be a fence builder. And here's the thing, as long as people don't moralize me, I will always support them and be friends with them. I'll give you an example from Hollywood. I demonize CAA a lot because it is run by demons. And when they said they couldn't rep me because I said 9-year-olds or 6-year-olds shouldn't get hormone replacement shots, they said that I was bad. I was a morally bad person. My manager at the time, who now is probably one of the most powerful people in Hollywood, you know, he repped he still reps like Key and Peele and Tiffany Haddish and like basically all the biggest black names. And he produced Get Out. He has a child with Down syndrome, which I have a lot of respect for, because that means he got the news that there was a chance his child would have Down syndrome, and he did what I would do, which would obviously not have an abortion. You'll never see Hollywood have a chance of having a child with Down syndrome. Do you want to abort you anymore? I don't know, but I was mocking him, calling him a butt boy. And hang on, let me lower the output. It's doing its thing again, even though I've fixed a lot of stuff, and I'm not going to get like frustrated like I did yesterday. I'm a chill cucumber today. It said video output low. So anyway, he just said, I don't know how to rep you anymore. He's like, you're on a path. And he goes, I don't know how to do it. Like, you are hated by a lot of Hollywood. He's like, you just were mocking Alyssa Milano, and I'm friends with her husband, who's one of the heads of CIA, and this makes things very awkward for me. And he's like, I love you, buddy, but I don't know how to rep you. Like, I take no offense to that. If Crowder said to me, hey man, I got a lot of sponsorships, I'm on a network, Blaze, and they're blazing, baby, they're blazing. And he said, you called Ben Shapiro a sneaky Jew. I know you're probably joking, but that makes us look bad, and I have employees. I'd be like, fuck, fine, dude. God bless. I'll always support you, and if you ever need me, I'm here. That does not affect the way I see human beings. What would is if someone said, you're bad. You're bad. Is there technical difficulties? There's no way. I mean, I'm streaming this off my phone, so I got to even test it because I'm not going inside. They're blazing, baby. Just like the name Blaze TV. It's retarded. And Shapiro is a goblin. Yeah, I mean, he's up to no good. And so I'm free, and I'll always be free, and that's why I don't have employees. I don't have sponsors, and I'm not on a network. And I've been offered networks, and I've been offered sponsors and employees, and I always say no because I will not take the money for the lack of freedom. And so just to put all your questions to bed, and then we'll get into some more interesting things. I'm guessing Crowder still wants me to write for him, but if not, it would not change the way I saw him one bit. Like, I still love him and support him and think he's a wonderful person, and he's facing a lot of health problems, and he's getting strong again. And we just talked today and talked about, hunting deer from our porch. And that's what friends are. The left has this awful mentality that friendship is based on ally. They have allies, not friends. And some of the neocons are like that as well on the right. But my friendships aren't based on what you can get for me. Like when I played Shirtless Like McConaughey yesterday, that bearded guy, in the interview scene, at that time, he was, a pretty disgruntled comic. And had a shitty job he didn't like, and we were friends, and I always thought he was funny. He's now one of the most powerful people at Comedy Central. And so our friendship never changed. We talked recently. He can't put me on Comedy Central anymore because I've went off the rails. But I've always loved him. Whether he was Jew, by the way, but Viking Jew, because he has a beard. We used to call him Viking Jew. I was in his wedding party. I'm the godfather of, well, I don't know if that really is, I don't know what that even means. But at the time he told me I was the godfather of his first daughter. But we just talked because our relationship wasn't based on power or ally or any of that stuff. So just to put all that to bed and understand that when I turned on Jordan Peterson or turned on Joe Rogan, they weren't my friends, guys. I've had one conversation in my life with Jordan Peterson. I was supporting what he stood for. And then when I realized what he stood for was rotten and a trick, I turned on him like a fucking wolf. I turned on him like a jackal. And I tried